All right, we are live. This is Tuesday. It is May 6th, 2025. It is Ask a Clutter Boss. And for some reason today, you guys, I am all riled up. So you may get Jess Mercy all riled up today for Ask a Clutter Boss. Ask a Clutter Boss is the internet's best weekly decluttering advice show, and we touch on topics that are all related to decluttering and clutter because we believe at Clutter Boss it is all clutter. All clutter is connected. We cannot isolate out just the stuff in our house from everything else that is going on in our life and from our past history and our future dreams. We have to look at it all together. It is an integrated approach to tackling your clutter. So, that being said, today I'm really thinking about, and probably because in our flagship program, Clutter Boss Blueprints, there's a lot of people right now who are focusing on their bedroom. Bedroom is month number 2 in Clutter Boss Blueprint after the kitchen. Why is the bedroom the second most important thing to tackle in my mind? Because there is an enormous connection between clutter and sleep. Clutter and sleep. So when I started working, hello, Madonna, hello, Denise. When I started working as a professional organizer, something that kept coming up over and over and over again is I don't sleep. Like when I'm talking to clients about what their day-to-day looks like, how can we fit in more decluttering, how can we build habits that we need to maintain our homes and our spaces, we always get to this stopping point of sleep. Sleep is a huge issue. At any given time, I've read statistics that 30 to 40% of the population isn't sleeping. And I really think if I look at my clients, I would say 80 to 90% of them are struggling with sleep. This is a huge number. This is a huge number. And again, are any doctors researching this or researchers researching this? Is anyone reporting on the connection between people who have clutter and the lack of sleep that they are getting? I don't know. I haven't seen anything compelling, any real research, only anecdotal data, which is exactly what I have also. I would love a real study on this because it's huge. If you are not sleeping, every single thing in your life is compromised. Every single thing is more difficult. Your mental health is compromised. Your physical health is compromised. Your ability to function every single day is highly compromised. 2 nights of getting less than 6 hours of sleep is the equivalent of not sleeping at all for an entire night. It's a really big deal. And it's so connected to our clutter in multiple different ways. Number one, it's hard to find the energy to make decisions when your decision making abilities are undermined and compromised by not sleeping. Clutter and decluttering is a lot of decision making. It's decision making plus being confident in the decisions that you're making. Who can feel confident or easily make decisions when they are sleep deprived? No one. No one can. Clutter also is connected to our sleep because when we go to sleep in an environment that is chaotic, that is cluttered, that is possibly also dusty and has environmental allergens present, it is hard to get a good night's sleep because our cortisol levels are high falling asleep. So as we're sleeping, cortisol spikes usually 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. That's our body's natural way of saying get ready to wake up soon. Get ready. We're going to be waking up soon. If you go to bed in an environment that is already spiking your cortisol, guess what? It's going to be really hard to fall asleep because cortisol tells us to wake up. Wake up. So, when we have an environment, a bedroom that we are falling asleep in, and it is chaotic, it is stressful, it is 100% impacting our sleep. And then because we're not sleeping as well, everything after that is difficult. It is difficult to make a decision. It is difficult to have energy to declutter or energy to maintain your space. Everything is difficult. And it is this downward spiral because you're exhausted, you need more sleep, but it's hard to sleep in the environment that is raising your cortisol. Okay? So it's like this just ongoing very hard pattern to break. When we are talking about clutter, if we are not talking about sleep, we are missing a huge piece of the puzzle, period. So, if you are listening to this right now, I want to really, really, really encourage you to look at the space in which you are sleeping. Start with the bed. Is your bed an inviting and comfortable spot for you to lie down? If not, make it that way. Your body has to feel comfortable in order to be rested. I almost always say don't buy stuff, but in this case, I'm going to say if your mattress is 25 years old and it's giving you back pain and it's making it difficult for you to sleep, get a new mattress. Sleep is the foundation to everything else in our life. Invest in an environment that will make it easy for you to fall asleep, that will be calming and soothing and not stressful and not something that is spiking our cortisol as soon as we go to bed. What does your bed look like? That is really important. Number two, what does the floor around your bed look like? Is it safe? Can you, in the middle of the night, get up and walk around without tripping over something or risking falling down? If you don't feel that your bedroom floor is safe, it's going to be difficult to fall asleep because you're physically not feeling safe. And then what is on top of all of the surfaces? Is it clear? Is it clean? Is it dust free? Is it calming to look like? Or is it a never ending to do list that you are looking at as you're falling asleep and as you're waking up every single morning? You deserve an environment to go to sleep in that feels restful and that is going to support the rest of your life, your day to day. You deserve to wake up and look around and love where you are. You deserve that. That is your right. I mean, this is just, it is so critical to our functioning every single day. We cannot continue to use our bedrooms as giant drop zones, which is very interesting because our bedrooms are giant drop zones. Very often, what's the one place that guests are not going to go? Probably into your bedroom, right? They may open up a door next to the bathroom thinking it's the bathroom. They may, where do we put stuff when we have people come over? We pile it into, a lot of times, into our bedrooms. Where does stuff go when it has no home? Just put it in the bedroom. I am asking everybody who is listening to this right now to make a commitment to make your bedroom the last spot that stuff gets dropped, because your sleep is so critically important to every single thing in your life. We need to prioritize this space. We need to hold it up on a pedestal, because if you're not sleeping, you're not functioning. It's so important. I told you guys I was all riled up today. All right. We're going to deviate from the topic of sleep in bedrooms. I feel like I have really talked a lot about that. Hello, Mitzi. I've really gone down the rabbit hole with that. But if you're just joining now, please go back and listen to this from the beginning, because there's some really critical information about clutter and sleep that is important for everyone to hear. I'm going to leave you with just a mindset shift. And this is something that has worked really, really well for me and continues to work really well for me. I used to feel embarrassed by my clutter. In the comments, let me know if you can relate to this. Do you feel embarrassed or ashamed by your clutter or the state of your house? When we're in a mindset like that, when we're thinking about embarrassment and shame, not letting people in, it's really hard to get moving. We become paralyzed by our emotions, and it's hard to take action because we are just in this space of shame. I actually, when I think about shame, I get a very specific visual in my head. Sort of interesting. When you think about shame, do you have a visual in your head? Does it elicit a visual response that, like, when you think of shame, what comes to mind? For me, it is a child cowering in a corner. And that really speaks volumes to me, and I've done a lot of work on this, to kind of understand this more deeply for me and how it relates personally and whatever. When I think of a child cowering in a corner, the last thing that that child can do is take action. They're physically in a position where they're unable to take action. They're emotionally in a position where they're unable to take action, and they are mentally so stressed out that they are unable to take action. So I had to figure out how to move past this. How do you move past this? And they're pretty big feelings. For me, something that really helped, and maybe this will help you, was shifting from a spot of shame to pride. So when I would look at a room, I would think, I know this is pretty awful right now. I want to take pride in this space. What would it take for me to feel pride in the space instead of shame? I started to choose to look at my space through a lens of what is it going to take for me to feel so proud of this space. And that has been a very powerful way for me to move through feelings of shame and embarrassment and to find motivation to actually start taking action in my house. And again, this has been a long process. I have been doing this for a long time. At this point now, I am so proud of my house. I love my house. I love my home. I am so proud to have people here because I have worked so hard to make it what it is. And I wonder if that can be a motivator for you as well. Can you get a small space to be something that you're so proud of? You're so proud of. Because when you feel that proudness, it really is for you first and foremost. It's you open it up and you're proud of yourself. You're like, yeah, girl, I did this. Like, this is amazing. I crushed this. I love this. I'm so proud of this. I want to share it with others, but mostly I feel so good about it just for me. And we're doing this decluttering work for us first and foremost. So when you're looking at your space, can you say, instead of feeling embarrassed by this, what do I need to do to feel proud of this space? Like this background, I love this. I feel so proud of this. I feel like maybe I could have done a slightly better job, but it looks so much like with like the wallpaper, but it was my first time. And I love turning on my computer, seeing my background because I love that I thought of that. I love that I found it. I love that I installed it myself. I'm proud of it. Before, I was not proud of that background space. Now I am. This is a question to ask yourself. It is so powerful. How can I be proud of this space? What steps do I need to take? So, if you're feeling stuck right now, if you're feeling ashamed, if you're feeling embarrassed, can you shift it? Can you shift it? Can you be curious? What would make me feel proud of this space? What steps can I take to start moving in that direction that I am so proud of this place that I call home? And let that be your motivator. Let that be your motivator to move forward. All right. There is a question in the comments. I'm gonna go to this because we have a little bit more time. I love this question. So the question is, I really want to declutter. I've been trying for 4 months, but I feel so guilty throwing stuff away because of the environment. It's holding me back. So I always just put it away. It's not about the money. Watching other people, they seem to just throw out and don't think twice. Don't know why I worry so much about the environment. Any advice? Oh, yes. All right. So, if you are new to Clutter Boss, here at Clutter Boss, we believe the single best thing that you can do for the environment is consume less moving forward. The stuff that is already in our home, that has already been consumed. So, When we think of the life cycle of an object, of any object, I have this phone holder right here. How did this come to be? So, the first part of the life cycle of any object is extraction. We extract the raw materials from the earth. Then it is production. We take all of the raw materials, we produce them into a thing. Then, once we have the thing, the next part of the life cycle is distribution. We send these things around the world to be consumed. Consumption is the fourth part of the life cycle. Everything that is in your house is in the consumption phase. So, of the life cycle, of which there are 5 phases, the last phase is disposal. By the time you get something in your house, it has already been extracted, produced, distributed, and now it's being consumed by you. The only thing next that's going to happen is it is going to be disposed of. It's possible that you could make the consumption phase a little bit longer by passing it on to somebody else who is going to use it or by recycling or upcycling it. However, every single thing that we own, everything, is going to end up in a landfill in the future. Period. That is it. Every piece of construction material that was used to build our homes, every object we have is going to end up in a landfill. And here's the other side of that. Once something is being consumed by you and you decide, I'm going to pass it along to somebody else, or you may decide, I'm going to recycle this. We have almost no control over the disposal of an item. Once it leaves our possession, whether it goes to a donation center, whether it gets upcycled or free cycled by somebody, you give it to somebody else. And even if we put it into the recycling bin, there is no guarantee that it is going to be reused or recycled. Most stuff that is recycled is not actually recycled. So, and we cannot control this. As individuals, we do not have control over the disposal stream of stuff. We can work hard and advocate for certain things, but at the end of the day, that process is dictated by market conditions, by money. That is what dictates our disposal process in the United States, especially. Even when there are government regulations, it is still dictated by money, because if there is no spot for this to be broken down and sold and remade, if there's nobody who will buy this to upcycle it or recycle it into something else, money dictates it. It gets tossed. So we have almost no control over the disposal of something. The part that we have the most ability to make a change is in our consumption. We can choose to consume something or to not consume something. We can choose to purchase things that had the beginning of their life cycle done in a way that is most environmentally friendly. So when we talk about extraction, production, and distribution, those 3 things really compromise the environment. Extraction is mostly horrendously destructive for the environment. It is a depressing situation. It's so bad. It's so bad. I sometimes hesitate to talk about this because it is so depressing. But the thing is, the more that you educate yourself about this, at least then you know what you're buying. So one of the most eye-opening things that I've read in the past year is a book called Cobalt Red. It is a book about the extraction of minerals, precious minerals from the Congo that are used to make batteries that power our cell phones, our cars, all of that. The education that you can have around this topic can really help you make better consumption decisions, decisions that are more in alignment with your values. You choose where your money goes. And ultimately, if enough of us choose that we want to have items that are less damaging to the earth during the extraction, production, and distribution process, that is what is going to make a difference because we can we can really make a change with how we spend our money. So the number one best thing that you can do is consume less, learn the truth about how stuff comes to be. And there's a lot of documentaries out there, there's a lot of books, there's a lot of fascinating information. Instead of getting depressed by this and feeling like it's hopeless, make a change with your consumption decisions. We can control what comes into our homes. Once it's in our homes, we're going to consume it in one way, shape, or form, and it's going to move on to its next spot, which is either more consumption or disposal. But it's ultimately disposal, always. That's always what happens in the end. So let's make better decisions. Let's consume less. And when we know that we are hanging on to stuff that is actually garbage, but we are feeling guilty about disposing of the item, the sad truth is that we are then living in a garbage dump. I mean, we are living, our home becomes trash. Our home becomes a storage unit. Our home becomes a recycling center. Our homes should be homes. And the reason that it's so important to have a home that makes you feel good is because when you free up your mental energy, you are able to think through your consumption. You are able to engage in activities that are in alignment with your morals and values and ethics. You have the time and space for that because that stuff does require time and space. It requires us having the energy to devote to that. When we are filled or surrounded by an endless to-do list and a bunch of stuff that is really trash, we are not mentally or emotionally available to make those decisions that are actually going to make a change. So if you have already consumed something, if it's been in your house, it's consumed, it's gone through the fourth phase of a 5-phase life cycle, let it go. Let it go. And from this moment forward, make a commitment to changing how you consume things. That is where the difference is going to happen, not from our disposal. Everything that's already produced is going into the trash. Cold, hard truth. So I don't like to call out names on, when people ask questions. I like to keep it anonymous. When I'm talking about this stuff, because this podcast gets distributed in a lot of different spots. But to the person who asked that question, does this shift things for you a little bit? Does it crack open a door to maybe letting go of some things? When we donate stuff, so much of it is tossed out. When we think about plastics, right? This is a good example. Only 9% of plastics have ever actually been recycled. 9%, 9%. This is a horrifyingly low number. I mean, if I took an exam and I got a 9 out of 100 on it, it would be failure to the epic level, right? We have failed. We have failed with our plastics. And most of the stuff that is recycled is actually upcycled. That means it's turned into something that can never be used again. Recycling has been sold to us as something that we are personally responsible for because guess who doesn't want to be responsible for it? The corporations that extract, produce, and distribute these materials. So we've been sold this because it's an easy solution for corporations. This idea that we can recycle and we can do all this. We can only put stuff into a recycling bin. We do not have control over the market, which dictates recycling. And that market is different all around the country. So do what you need to do to let go of stuff right now. And when you have the freedom from the stuff, you can make much better consumption decisions. Okay. I feel like you've all heard me on my soapbox enough for one day. So To recap, sleep is important, and it is very difficult to sleep in a room that is spiking your cortisol from the second you wake up until the second you go to sleep. So prioritize getting those bedrooms into sanctuary spaces. They are very important in our homes. Number two, if you are feeling ashamed or embarrassed by your clutter, can you instead look at your space and say, what would it take for me to feel proud? Can I find a way to be so proud of this space? It's a mindset shift that helps. And number three, sometimes stuff has to go into the garbage because your home should not be a garbage dump. It should not be a recycling center, and it should not be a storage unit. It should be a home. We're going to let it go and make better consumption decisions later. I love you guys. I believe in you. If you want support around any of us, please reach out. We have an incredible program called Clutter Boss Blueprint that gets you from a cluttered house to a decluttered house in 6 months with tremendous support and resources available. And we would love to support your journey because it actually does change your life. And we are here for the life-changingness of decluttering. Love you guys. I believe in you. This process is possible for everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you all next week.